Oh, hey, welcome back. Bring your popcorn and pull out your VSE. Because coming up next we got part 3 of the docuseries, The History of Entropia. I don't know, it actually might be called something else, but anyway, here it is.
The New Order. The people of Earth were about to unite under one single form of leadership, but the corporations were growing weary from waiting for the new resources and profits that the Odysseus probes would bring them. After nearly a decade, there had still been no response from any of the Odysseus probes, and people feared that the probes had been destroyed. With each year passing by without a message from any of the probes, the conflicts in space increased and before long escalated into corporation wars. The battles took place in space, far away from Earth, where the Global Alliance had no means of control. With the lack of response from the Odysseus probes and the brewing conflicts in space beginning to spread to the Mars colony, it increased the official demand for answers, as well as the need for new leadership. Scientists came up with the conclusion that the probes had been caught in some sort of a temporary abnormality that became known as a time flux, probably due to the form of travel provided by the use of jump rails. Half teleported and half traveling at several times the speed of light, it would change the reality of time from both standpoints. What would appear like a short moment of travel for each probe could pass by like ages for the people back on Earth. Still, it was only a matter of time before the Project Command Central would receive the first signal of arrival from one of the Odysseus probes. In the meantime, corporation conflicts had to be dealt with using a stronger power than what could be issued out by the Global Alliance. The Global Alliance was determined to take control of the situation before the conflicts escalated on Mars and stop them before they could spread to the lunar colony and finally the Earth itself. To gain enough power to take action, the Global Alliance gathered to form a whole new government. This new form of leadership would gain political power to rule the Earth, including all the planets in the solar system and all regions of space in between them. But most important, it would also stretch as far as human civilization went. No matter how far away into space it would take mankind. The Federal Empire of Earth had been born. The newly formed Federal Empire used political tactics and increased mobile military capabilities in space to gain control over the interplanetary colonies. This was done in order to prevent the corporation wars spreading down to solid ground and interpopulated areas. Time was short and the Federal Empire wished to put an end to the corporation wars before the first signals from the Odysseus probes were received. The first elected Supreme Imperial Chancellor did not intend to give the corporations the chance to slip away and take their conflicts with them to any new colonies in the future front regions of space. When the corporations lost control of the public markets, their armed conflicts quickly came to an end. For a short time, the corporations thought about forming their own alliance, which threatened to turn against the Federal Empire in an attempt to overthrow its new government. However, during the very same period, the first signals from one of the Odysseus probes reached Earth. The growing threat from the corporations quickly faded away as they turned their interest towards the new potential resources that were beginning to emerge across space. This first signal was the start of a new age in the history of mankind, the era of interstellar travel and conquest. The colonization of space. Decades passed by as mankind began to move away from Earth's solar system, following the growing web of robotic bases and industrial supply facilities that were left behind by the Odysseus probes. So far, the jump rails were the only means of interstellar travel, but this would soon change with the invention of the space gates. As the industry continued to expand, the public community would follow, and it became a slow but natural form of immigration out into space. Humans managed to adapt and overcome the problems of a life in colonies on new alien worlds, learning how to survive in very hostile environments. Communications and travel were easy, but life was hard. if not impossible, unless science and technology were used to aid mankind in the stellar conquest and colonization of new planets. Even though many worlds are considered habitable, it still requires advanced environmental and/or anatomical adjustments to support human life. As a result, many humans on faraway worlds have been altered technologically or genetically, and have become altered in their appearance compared to the original humans on Earth. Through the passing of generations, these altered humans have begun to naturally inherit genetically engineered traits from their parents, without the need for prior genetic alteration of the unborn child. As of yet, the only aliens encountered have been relatively early forms of primitive life. The altered humans originating from Earth remain the only truly intelligent form of life on these few habitable alien worlds. With the continued development of teleportation technology, the first operational space gates were soon being constructed across the entire Earth solar system to link the different planets and colonies together. There was no longer a need for any large human transport vessels between the interplanetary colonies, since smaller shuttlecrafts could now travel instantly through the space gates. However, the space gate technology had its limits. An active gate consumes vast amounts of energy and requires the large-scale construction of antimatter reactors, generators, shields, stabilization units, and other expensive systems. The opening itself in the gate has to be kept small to keep the active teleportation field stable and the passage secure. The reactors that generate the energy to activate a gate are enormous and require large quantities of antimatter to function. The creation of antimatter is still a difficult and expensive process, still making the issue of space gates a matter of economics rather than the most practical and efficient way of space travel available. The interstellar network is growing rapidly. To encourage market competition and ease the economical strain, as well as the political pressure from having to sway off corporate mischief towards the government, the Federal Empire began to issue out imperial contracts. These contracts focus on the communication network, such as the protection and maintenance of hyperlink beacons and the construction of space gates. Corporations who have obtained a contract to maintain a beacon are able to pick up new signals transmitted from an Odysseus probe that has established a new base somewhere in space. The signal that is crossing a contracted beacon will be detected and tagged with a claim before the news has reached all the other control stations in the network in each sector of space. The corporations are then able to sign the contract for a new base and its resources from the Federal Empire at first hand. This also includes claiming a contract for future research and the development of entire new colonies on other planets, which is called a colonial contract. This means that the corporation is in complete control of the market on the colony until the whole world has been terraformed and secured to allow a larger public immigration.
To be continued. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and smash the bell. Feel free to think of me the next time you decide to respectfully crank your hog, lizard lick, merp merp.